Gary Burghoff, the actor who won hearts worldwide as Radar O'Reilly on MASH, known for his gentle demeanor, his boyish charm, and that unforgettable smile, Burghoff became one of the most beloved characters on television in the 1970s. But behind the scenes, not everything was as warm and friendly as it seemed. For decades, whispers circulated about a profound tension between Burghoff and one of his co-stars. And now, for the first time, the reason behind that intense dislike has come to light. Fans always assumed that the camaraderie on MASH mirrored reality. Laughter, pranks, and genuine friendship were often portrayed both on-screen and in interviews. But the truth was more complicated. Sources close to the cast have revealed that a deep-seated animosity existed, fueled by professional disagreements, clashing personalities, and unresolved conflicts that stretched over years. The tension was not just mild annoyance, it was palpable, shaping interactions and leaving a mark on the set. The revelation sheds light on an aspect of MASH history that many never knew. While Burghoff himself was adored by millions, his presence was, in some cases, a source of frustration for colleagues who struggled to navigate his personality. From disagreements about scenes and creative decisions to personal clashes, the friction was intense enough that it left lasting impressions on those involved. As we uncover the details behind this bitter dynamic, the story reveals more than just personal conflict. It exposes the pressures of fame, the challenges of working on an iconic television show, and how even beloved actors can evoke strong, complex emotions among their peers. The truth about why he utterly hated Gary Burghoff is finally coming to light, and it's as shocking as it is fascinating. Gary Burghoff is one of the most recognizable faces from television history, forever immortalized as Radar O'Reilly on MASH. With his innocent charm, endearing mannerisms, and signature smile, Burghoff quickly became a fan favorite, captivating audiences with his portrayal of the lovable company clerk who seemed to carry the heart of the 4077th. Yet, behind the scenes, not all of his relationships on set mirrored the warmth and camaraderie seen on screen. One particular co-star harbored a deep resentment toward him, a sentiment that puzzled fans for years. The story begins with the unique pressures of working on a show as influential as MASH. By the early 1970s, the series had become a cultural phenomenon, blending humor with the poignant realities of war. The cast, a mix of veterans and newcomers, had to navigate intense shooting schedules, creative disagreements, and the challenges of maintaining personal space within a confined working environment. In this high-pressure setting, personalities that might otherwise coexist peacefully often clashed, and for some, the friction was undeniable. According to sources close to the production, the tension between Burghoff and his co-star was not a fleeting annoyance, but a long-standing issue. Differences in work style were a major factor. Burghoff, known for his meticulous preparation and attention to detail, often had strong opinions about his scenes and the way his character was portrayed. While his dedication earned respect from many, it also created friction with others who preferred a more flexible or spontaneous approach to acting. Small disagreements over lines, blocking, and performance nuances escalated over time, leaving unresolved tension simmering behind the cameras. Personality differences further fueled the conflict. Burghoff's natural warmth and charm sometimes clashed with colleagues who had a different energy or approach to work. What one person perceived as professionalism and dedication, another saw as inflexibility or self-importance. The result was a mutual frustration that neither party fully understood at the time, contributing to an environment where resentment could grow unnoticed by outsiders. The co-star in question, whose admiration for the series' success did not extend to personal warmth toward Burghoff, eventually became increasingly vocal about his dissatisfaction. Reports indicate that the animosity affected not only interactions on set, but also collaborative decisions during production. While the cameras never captured these moments of tension, those present behind the scenes recall an undercurrent of discomfort that occasionally surfaced in subtle ways. A glare during rehearsals, curt exchanges, and a general avoidance of unnecessary interaction. Interestingly, The friction was never rooted in professional incompetence. Burghoff's talent was unquestionable. He delivered consistently nuanced and heartfelt performances that resonated with audiences and critics alike. The issue lay not in his ability, but in the complex interplay of personality, expectations, and the pressures of working on one of television's most demanding sets. The intensity of the show, combined with the public attention and creative stakes, created an environment ripe for misunderstandings and interpersonal conflict. As the decades passed, the tension between Burghoff and his co-star became part of television lore, a quiet undercurrent in the history of a beloved show. Fans speculated, insiders whispered, but the details remained largely private. Now, however, for the first time, the reasons behind this animosity have been fully revealed, shedding light on a side of MASH that few outside the set ever saw. The story of why he was so utterly hated is not just a tale of personal conflict, but also a window into the challenges of working closely with strong personalities under extraordinary circumstances. The tension between Gary Burghoff and his co-star on MASH was fueled by several layers of complexity, ranging from creative disagreements to clashing personalities. On set, Burghoff was known for his meticulous attention to detail and deep understanding of his character, Radar O'Reilly. While this dedication made him a standout performer, it also led to conflicts with colleagues who had different approaches to acting. In many ways, his insistence on precision and authenticity was both a strength and a source of friction. According to insiders, one major point of contention was Burghoff's involvement in scene development and line delivery. He often suggested tweaks to dialogue, timing, or reactions to ensure his performance felt genuine and true to the character. While many valued his input, some co-stars interpreted this as interference or criticism of their own work. In a high-pressure environment where every scene was scrutinized by directors and producers, even small disagreements could escalate, creating lasting tension. Personality clashes also played a significant role. Burghoff's natural warmth, charm, and approachability sometimes contrasted sharply with the temperament of certain colleagues. Where Burghoff sought collaboration and thoughtful dialogue, his co-star often preferred a more straightforward, authoritative style. This difference in communication and perspective led to misunderstandings that intensified the animosity. Observers recall moments when simple exchanges, like discussions about scene blocking or character interpretation, would turn cold or strained, leaving a mark on the set's atmosphere. Another factor contributing to the animosity was Burghoff's rising popularity and the attention he received from fans and media. His endearing portrayal of Radar made him one of the most beloved figures on television, which, while celebrated publicly, sometimes caused resentment among co-stars who felt overshadowed or underappreciated. The combination of talent, charm, and growing fame can be difficult for some colleagues to navigate, particularly in a competitive and highly visible environment like MASH. Despite the animosity, it's important to note that the conflict was not rooted in professional incompetence. Burghoff was universally respected for his acting ability, dedication, and professionalism. The tension was personal rather than performance-based, stemming from differing expectations, working styles, and interpersonal dynamics. In many ways, this is a reflection of the unique pressures of working on a landmark television series. MASH was groundbreaking, blending comedy and drama in ways never before attempted, and the stress of delivering high-quality performances under such conditions magnified even minor disagreements. Sources close to the set recall that the animosity, while significant, was mostly contained behind closed doors. The public rarely saw the friction, as the actors maintained professionalism during filming. However, the undercurrent of dislike shaped interactions and occasionally influenced creative decisions, from scene rehearsals to off-camera discussions. Even after the series concluded, the tension remained a topic among insiders, fueling speculation and curiosity about the true dynamics between Burghoff and his co-star. In retrospect, the reasons behind this deep-seated animosity reveal more than just personal dislike. They provide insight into the pressures of working on a groundbreaking television show, the challenges of strong personalities collaborating under intense scrutiny, and the complexities of balancing fame, talent, and ego. Gary Burghoff's experience illustrates how even the most beloved actors can be perceived in contrasting ways by those who work closely with them, highlighting the human side of television production that fans rarely see. As the years passed, the tension between Gary Burghoff and his co-star became part of MASH's behind-the-scenes lore, a story whispered among crew members and close associates. While the public adored Burghoff for his portrayal of Radar O'Reilly, the reality on set was more complicated. Sources indicate that the animosity stemmed from a combination of professional pride, clashing work styles, and personal differences that neither party fully resolved during the series' run. Burghoff's meticulous nature often put him at odds with colleagues who preferred a more spontaneous approach. He believed that attention to detail was essential to create a believable character, which sometimes led him to offer input on scenes or dialogue that others interpreted as overstepping boundaries. For his co-star, who valued efficiency and a direct approach, this behavior was frustrating. What Burghoff saw as collaboration, his co-star perceived as criticism, and the subtle tension escalated over time. Repeated minor conflicts accumulated, eventually forming a deep-seated dislike. Personality differences played an equally significant role. Burghoff's warmth, humor, and empathetic approach to acting contrasted sharply with the more rigid or confrontational personalities on set. While he sought harmony and genuine interaction, his co-star preferred control and a structured environment, leaving little room for compromise. These fundamental differences in temperament created an invisible barrier, one that prevented a true friendship from forming despite years of working side by side. Another factor contributing to the animosity was the immense pressure of producing a landmark television series. MASH was not just any show. It was a cultural phenomenon blending comedy and poignant social commentary. The intensity of shooting schedules, the expectation for high-quality performances, and the scrutiny from both critics and fans amplified the smallest disagreements. In such an environment, even minor irritations could become magnified, and unresolved disputes could linger, festering quietly behind the cameras. Interestingly, Burghoff's growing popularity among fans also played a role. Radar O'Reilly became one of the most beloved characters on television, earning accolades and media attention that sometimes highlighted Burghoff above his co-stars. While this fame was deserved, it contributed to envy and resentment among certain colleagues. The mix of admiration from audiences and tension from peers created a unique, complicated dynamic, one that few outside the inner circle could fully understand. Despite the animosity, the professionalism of the cast ensured that work on set continued smoothly. Crew members recall that even when tensions were high, scenes were completed successfully, and Burghoff maintained his dedication to the craft. His talent, reliability, and commitment to the character ensured that the show's production remained on track, even as interpersonal conflicts simmered in the background. Looking back, the feud illustrates the complex interplay between personality, fame, and professional expectations in high-pressure environments. Gary Burghoff's experience serves as a reminder that even the most charming and beloved actors can encounter significant challenges in maintaining harmonious relationships with colleagues. The reasons behind the animosity are not rooted in his ability or character, but in the human dynamics of working closely with strong, opinionated individuals under extraordinary circumstances. Ultimately, the revelation of why one actor utterly hated Gary Burghoff provides a rare glimpse into the unseen realities of television production. It highlights the pressures, misunderstandings, and clashing personalities that often accompany even the most celebrated projects, revealing a side of MASH that fans never witnessed. A world where personal conflict coexisted with groundbreaking storytelling and iconic performances. The revelation of why Gary Burghoff was so intensely disliked by one of his co-stars sheds light on the complex dynamics that existed behind the scenes of MASH. While Burghoff was beloved by millions of fans for his endearing portrayal of Radar O'Reilly, the reality of working closely with him was far more complicated for some of his colleagues. The tension was the product of overlapping factors, clashing personalities, differences in work approach, and the pressures inherent in producing one of television's most iconic shows. Burghoff's dedication to his craft was unwavering. He took the time to deeply understand Radar's character, often going beyond the script to ensure that his performance was both authentic and nuanced. He cared about timing, expression, and subtle details that would make Radar relatable and memorable. While this commitment earned him admiration from audiences and some colleagues, it also created friction with those who preferred a more relaxed or improvisational style of working. To his co-star, Burghoff's insistence on precision sometimes felt like interference, a source of irritation that grew over time. Personality clashes only intensified the situation. Burghoff's warmth, humility, and collaborative spirit contrasted sharply with his co-star's more controlling or rigid demeanor. Where Burghoff sought mutual respect and dialogue, his co-star often valued authority and unilateral decision-making. These fundamental differences in approach and temperament created an invisible barrier, preventing any genuine camaraderie from forming. Even routine interactions became tense, and minor disagreements over lines, blocking, or interpretation were magnified under the stress of long shooting schedules. The pressures of fame and the demands of MASH also played a role in this animosity. As a groundbreaking series blending comedy and poignant drama, every episode carried high expectations. Burghoff's growing popularity among viewers added another layer of complexity. Radar O'Reilly became a cultural icon, earning attention from fans and the media that occasionally overshadowed other cast members. While this recognition was deserved, it fostered envy and resentment among those who felt less appreciated or constrained by Burghoff's rising prominence. Despite the personal conflicts, the professionalism of the cast ensured that production remained uninterrupted. Scenes were filmed with precision, performances delivered as planned, and Burghoff's dedication never wavered. The tension existed largely behind the scenes, hidden from fans who assumed that the camaraderie on screen mirrored reality. Yet insiders confirmed that the animosity left a lasting impression, influencing interactions and shaping the work environment throughout the show's run. In retrospect, the story reveals much more than a simple feud. It highlights the challenges of collaborating with strong personalities, balancing creative input with respect for others, and navigating the pressures of fame. Gary Burghoff's experience serves as a testament to the complexities of working in high-stakes entertainment, where even beloved actors can encounter resistance and friction from those around them. Ultimately, the truth about why one actor utterly hated Gary Burghoff is a compelling reminder that television, while glamorous on the surface, often conceals intense personal dynamics. Behind the laughter, tears, and unforgettable performances of MASH existed a world of ambition, rivalry, and human imperfection, a side that fans rarely saw but that shaped the experience of those who lived it. Burghoff's story is a testament not only to his talent, but also to his resilience in navigating the difficult interpersonal landscape of one of television's most celebrated shows.